Hi, welcome to this video where I'm going to share my journey of learning Chinese from zero all the way to HSK6. So let's go right into the beginning. As you've seen probably on my older video, is that my parents used to live in Beijing in the 80s. So when I was a kid growing up in Finland, I had this connection with the Chinese language and the Chinese culture. I was always very interested in learning the language, watching movies or documentaries seen on TV. But the first time I had a chance to actually attend Chinese lessons was around summer 2005 when I was in high school. My high school organized this summer course of 2 weeks which had half-day learning Chinese, travel-related vocabulary, and the other half-day then learning Taiji. And Taiji is actually something that I have taken a couple courses as well. So these 2 weeks, of course, was a very quick kind of a preview on what learning Chinese could be about. So from 2005, it was only in 2008 when I attended university when I had a chance to start taking regular Chinese lessons. So from September 2008 until December 2009, I was taking Chinese lessons once or twice a week. But in Finland, I certainly was lacking the language environment. So besides lessons and some homework, I really didn't have or very well use any other opportunities for practicing the language. We did have an excellent Chinese club at the Tampere University where we met up with both Chinese students, Finnish students, foreign students who were interested in Chinese. So that was a great way to learn more about the language and the culture as well. But it was only when I moved to Guangzhou in early 2010 when I really seriously started to learn Chinese. So I was an exchange student at the Guangzhou University from early 2010 until summer 2011. I was studying Chinese Monday to Friday every morning and then afternoon doing my homework. So this was time when my Chinese really started to progress faster. In all those semesters in Finland for a year and a half, I barely got maybe to around current HSK2 level or so. My pronunciation was awful. I often did not understand what Chinese people were talking to me. So I came to China and my studies really started to go more on the fast track, if you may. So I took my first HSK exam. It was the old HSK exam in 2010. Failed it, did not manage to get any result on the old HSK intermediate, but I didn't give up. I took the exam again. November 2010, I took the old HSK intermediate exam again and got the level 4 out of that exam. Then later in April 2011, I took the old HSK intermediate yet another time, third time, and this time got into the level 5. I can put somewhere here the comparison of the old and the current HSK. So after my study exchange of 3 semesters, I didn't feel like going back to Finland. I wanted to stay in Guangzhou. I really enjoyed my life here, as I still am. And I wanted to do my degree here. I never graduated in Finland because I didn't go back to finish my bachelor degree, so I wanted to do my bachelor here in Guangzhou, China. At the time, it was easy for foreigners to get into Chinese universities, so I was just looking at the list of universities in Guangzhou, picked the first one and applied. So I started my bachelor degree with other foreign students in September 2011 at the Sun Yat-sen University. There I really started to study Chinese full time. I would have lessons morning, afternoon till evening, sometimes even optional courses during the lunch break. I was really immersed in the act of learning Chinese full time. That was the only thing I was focusing on. I had classmates from all over the world and we would often use Chinese with each other. At this point, I would say still I had huge troubles with my pronunciation and my tones. And for some reason, my teachers didn't really make me stop and pause and say, wait, your Chinese is getting okay, but you have to work on your pronunciation. It was only later on when some teachers gave me this feedback and I realized, okay, I really have to go a little bit back to the basics to really learn the pronunciation properly. So I started my bachelor degree in Chinese language with other foreign students, and in 2011, later that year, I did the new HSK and then received the new HSK 5 level. And now I speak about the new HSK, meaning it's the current HSK we have at the moment. But back in 2011, it was all brand new. During the third year of my bachelor degree studies, I have to choose a specialty, and we have two options, business Chinese or teaching Chinese. I was not that interested in the business side, so I went for the education and teaching Chinese. So during the last years of my bachelor degree, we had many courses related to teaching already. Not just learning Chinese, but using Chinese to learn something else, to learn about the education. For my bachelor degree, it was required of us to have at least HSK 5 to graduate, but I wanted to aim a little bit higher, as I already had HSK 5 in 2011. So in May 2013, I then took and passed the HSK6 exam and graduated with my bachelor in December 2013. My bachelor degree, of course, included a short bachelor thesis as well, which I wrote in Chinese. We had a great course related to a post book on how to write thesis in Chinese. After that, I had kind of a half a year break, and I really felt like my studies were not over. I've always been a student at heart, and I wanted to continue my studies. So I applied for the Confucius Institute scholarship for a master's program dedicated to becoming a Chinese teacher. At that time, they really wanted foreigners to join this whole Chinese program as well. So I started my master's degree in teaching Chinese to foreign students in September 2014. So at this time, I had the HSK6 that I had previously taken in 2013. Now, in my master's degree, we were not learning Chinese language anymore. We were learning how to teach it. So we had courses, all in Chinese, courses in Chinese linguistics, Chinese grammar, phonetics, characters, on how to teach different aspects of the language, how to teach different courses, how to write course books, how to design lessons, how to do exams, so everything that relates to being a Chinese teacher. We had around 20 foreign students together with 40 Chinese students studying all together. For most of our courses, we didn't have exams. Instead, we had to write papers, often together with our Chinese classmates. Then before I graduated from my master's, we had to have the HSK6 by then at least. And because I had done mine in 2013, and in the educational world, the HSK expires in 2 years. This is only for the school life, so I had to take it again. So I took the HSK6 again in March 2016 before I graduated. Got a little bit higher score, added 20 or so points there, so all good. Finished up my thesis on textbook design as well, of course, in Chinese, and graduated summer 2016. At this point, on a personal note, my daughter was about 8 months old when she graduated, so I took some time to be home with her. And then in 2017, January, I then started my Chinese language center called the Expert Chinese. So since 2017 then, I have been working as a full-time Chinese teacher. And during this time, I was really focusing on how to teach my students better. And most of my students are in HSK levels 1 to 3, some in HSK 4, but a lot of beginners. So it's really diving deep into those first few levels on being able to explain, you know, pinyin, pronunciation, how to learn characters, all the different grammar points for all of these levels the best I could. So I was really focusing on those for years and not really focusing on how I could improve my Chinese above the HSK6. So my own level, I felt it was a little bit stuck for years. Now this year, the good news are for everyone who loves learning Chinese is the new HSK Advanced exam that brings us to level 7 to 9. Now, if you have watched the other videos on my channel, you already know that I took the exam November 26th this year, 2022, but I'm still waiting for the results. So I think in a couple of months, we will know if I failed the exam, which is very likely. It was a very difficult exam indeed, or if I was lucky and managed to get the HSK level 7. Now, this new exam brings a new wave of motivation for me personally, because as a Chinese teacher and someone whose whole life revolves around learning and teaching Chinese, I certainly have to get to HSK 9 level. There is no question about it. So I have to keep on. 那我录视频，你等一下，我还需要几分钟。出去。
我就在这儿。
好的，好的。别这样，别这样，Anna. So for someone working as a Chinese teacher and my whole life being a passion for learning and teaching Chinese, I certainly have to get into the highest HSK 9 level for sure, no question about it. So even if I managed by luck get the HSK 7 this time, I have to keep on learning because there's a lot of things to learn, getting from 7 to 8 and then 8 to 9. Few things I have to be learning a lot more: translation, interpretation, speaking Chinese in a more advanced level. Because pretty much when you get into HSK 4, 5 levels, especially 6, just daily life communication is not enough to improve your Chinese. You're just going out, speaking to your family, everyday topics. It's not like every day I would discuss, you know, some very high topics with my husband, for example. So the daily life is just not enough. So you really have to hit the books, watch documentaries, attend lectures, read some papers in Chinese. So those are the things that I want to do to keep on improving my Chinese as well. So I have two goals for myself personally as a Chinese learner. One is obviously to be the best possible teacher for my students and learning the techniques and skills to be even a better teacher. And then second one, to improve in my own Chinese level as well, to really reach that HSK 9. Now I'm at the start of starting my PhD as well, related to motivation in Chinese learning. So I hope to be reading more scientific papers in Chinese as well. But that's pretty much my whole journey from 0 to HSK6 and beyond. In a nutshell, I could say. So if you have any questions about learning Chinese, about my journey in learning or teaching Chinese, just send your questions in the comments and I'll be happy to answer the best I can. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.